like to call the Downtown Development Authority meeting to order. The first item is our Pledge of Allegiance. Supervisor Bundy, would you lead us in the pledge?
I would love to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is roll call. Mr. Moran is here. Supervisor Budney.
Present.
Mr. Anderson.
Present.
Ms. Pusak.
Here.
Mr. Ranley.
Here.
Ms. Stanko is excused. Ms. Carnes is excused. Mr. Jacobson.
Here.
Ms. Armiak.
Present.
Next item is the additions or deletions to the agenda. Anybody have any additions or deletions?
I'll move to accept.
We've got a motion by Ms. Pusak.
Support.
Supported by Supervisor Budney to approve the agenda for September 26th, 2024. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Next item is presentations. We have none tonight, so we'll move on to the approval of the minutes of the August 29th, 2024 meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Armiak, supported by Supervisor Budney. Is there any other comments, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Next item is our financial update, the approval of the August 2024 financial report. Everyone should have received that in their packet, and I don't know of any unusual items.
I didn't see anything unusual.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve or to accept the financial report.
I'll support.
Motion by Supervisor Budney, supported by Mr. Jacobson.
Yep.
Is there any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Our next items are action items, and first one is a motion to approve payment to ZB Services for the removal of Christmas lights at Perdino's. And for those not familiar with this, we've decorated that tree over the years, and my understanding is that some years they were not taken down, and they've kind of grown through the trees or through the branches, and it's going to take a little bit of effort to get all those down. So it's time that happens.
I'll move to approve.
I support.
Motion by Ms. Pusak, supported by Mr. Ranley, to approve ZB Services in the amount of $1,500. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Our next action item is a motion to approve the purchase of fencing for the DDA parking lot from Brady's Fencein in the amount not to exceed $4,680.
I'll move to accept, and then we can talk about it.
Yes, motion by Ms. Pusak,
Support.
supported by Supervisor Budney. Under discussion. My understanding is that the bid that we had from the last contractor, there was a misunderstanding of what the scope of work was. And so when it was time for him to actually move forward with doing the work, Ross went out and met with him, and he was not going to do what we needed to do, so he had to go out and get another bid, and this is the new bid.
When it says parking lot,
That's the DDA lot.
It's the border on the west side of the lot.
Okay.
There's a residential house there. And we had landscaping there over the years that when someone pulled in with their headlights shining, the landscaping would be the buffer. And that landscaping has died and it was pulled out. So when someone pulls in, the lights are shining into that residential.
you know, we talked so much about Lyons Park, my head was at
Yeah,
Lyons Park.
yeah,
So
yeah.
now I'm with you.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're
okay.
over
Talked
to
about this
DDA.
before, too.
Yeah.
DDA parking
Yeah.
lot, got it.
And so there's urgency to get this done, so. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, we have a motion by Ms. Pusak, supported by Supervisor Budney. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Next item is our discussion items, which is, first item is Lyons Park
There you go.
Landscape
There we go.
RFP. And Ross and I have had a discussion with Wade Trim, who is the consultant that did our rendering of the Lyons Park, and asked them to give us some recommendations as to what type of trees we should be planting along the north property line to help screen that residential house that's there. And then that plan also shows that there's 2 trees that are going to go on either side of the G and the I behind it a little bit. So we've got the recommendation from Wade Trim as to the type of trees that we should use there, which is listed in the RFP here. So just as this is just an FYI, we're going to go out, and the intent is that we would like to get this done this year. So this RFP is going to indicate that planning should be done by the end of October. And this is just, a copy of how we're handling the RFP, so.
The renderings that are in the packet, how close do we want to get to these renderings? Because they show a number of trees.
Well, I mean, we're not following it exactly, because you can see on the west property line, we don't really have that kind of space to
Right.
have these bigger evergreens planted there. And the property owner to the west, he's planted a row of arborvitaes
Right,
there, and
right.
they're only about 3 feet tall. So, in my understanding is that that property might be purchased. So,
Is there a water source anywhere on this property?
On Lyons,
yes,
on Lyons
yes,
Park?
it's along Lyons Road at the north end of the site.
Towards the high school, towards the house.
Yep,
Yeah.
Okay.
because we are gonna need to get this sprinkled. We're gonna have to have an irrigation system.
We're gonna have you
Installed.
come over with a bucket
I would-
every day.
Well, I mean, just, if we were gonna throw them
Yeah,
flowers
yeah.
anywhere, it's like, might be helpful, okay.
And I'm not sure if, I think Ross told everyone, but we were successful in getting a $12,000 grant.
Yep.
So congratulations to Ross. He was not going to give up. He was going to keep applying until we got one. So, and I think,
There it is.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
we had requested, I think Ross told me we had requested 20,000 and
Correct.
we got awarded 12,000. And it's through the State of Michigan Arts and Culture Council.
Do we post this someplace so how do we get people to bid on this? Does it get posted?
Yes.
The RFPs,
Yes.
yeah, go out.
And
yeah.
we'll send it out
Yeah.
to specific landscape firms as well.
Okay.
I'll just read the first paragraph here. It says, on September 20th, 2024, the Michigan Arts and Culture Council, which is the MACC, took action on grant request for the Experience Support Program. I am pleased to inform you that your application was included among those approved by the MACC to receive grant award. On behalf of the MACC, I congratulate you on your grant award as referenced below. And it's, there's a grant number in the organization is the Groseal Township, and the state funds that were awarded were $12,000.
That's awesome.
The award period is from October 1, 2024 through September 30th, 2025. And I'm sure we will have no problem spending the
We'll
money
have
in that time.
absolutely not have any. Would you want a copy of that?
Sure,
Yeah,
I
I'll
think
get
it'd be
you-
nice to pass that out to everybody.
Okay,
if
I'll
we can
I'll
get a
get
copy.
copies
Yeah.
for everybody.
So I think the intent is we can, because it's arts and culture, I think we need to do a sculpture there. So we will be consulting with Ally, our art consultant, and hopefully we'll get something done within the next, maybe by next spring.
So, would it go towards the wall? I mean, or?
It could, if we, choose to do that. I think we've already sort of planned that to be in our budget.
Okay.
But, if we wanted to use this money to do that, we certainly can do that. And I did talk to Ally about a week ago, and she had indicated that she's up over 500 tiles, so we're almost halfway there. And
Oh,
she
good.
hadn't been to the
Already.
schools yet,
Yep.
so she was still going to do that at the schools and then have some opportunities at her art studio. So things are moving good, and if you haven't been there, they've already poured the base, so the concrete base has been installed. So I'm pushing to get that done next spring. So
Just having that cement work in there, make it, just like it's coming along, it's coming along.
it's starting to look like a park now.
Yep, exactly.
Saturday mornings, like I haven't been there the last 2 weeks, but I really try hard to go to the market and just shake hands and thank people for participating. It's being so well received. But when the table's there to make the tiles, there's just a lot of positivity and, families having fun, but doing those tiles.
And for any of you board members that haven't done it yet, Ally said she wants to see you there, so.
I did mine.
Yeah, you've done it.
I did mine. I went back to do a second one, and the table was so crowded, there was no room for me, so.
You didn't want to sit on the ground and do it.
Yeah. So please, if you haven't done it, please make an effort to do that.
Susie, it's like a big shrinky dink.
You know I love shrinking.
That's an inside joke from Island Nights, sorry.
So if there's no further questions or comments on the Lyons Park Landscape RFP, we'll move on to our next discussion item, which is the Macomb Street Landscape, or Streetscape Design RFP. And this came out of the master plan that the township is currently doing for the entire township. And there was some recommendation that we should do a streetscape design along Macomb Street. And so the idea is we can do one of two things. We could either do a change order to the current group that's doing the master plan, or we can go out for an RFP. My suggestion is that we should go out for an RFP, because as you know, Wade Trim has done some work for us, the Smith Group has done some work for us, and there might be, someone else that, might be qualified to do that too. And part of the idea is that with this streetscape design, that we somehow start to make the street look cohesive, so there's certain elements along the street that are the same, and it starts to tie the street together so it looks like it was professionally planned. And so I think this is a good idea.
Well, our benches all match now, so that's
Yeah,
that's
I
a
mean,
step
we started it, right, by getting matching benches, and I think that's a good idea to go out.
Probably pick some landscape theme where, we pick some type of material that, we're going to suggest gets planted in a number of areas along the street. And if there are, I know when we did the survey, there was a lot of people that indicated they'd like to see more trees along Macomb. I don't know how many other spaces are available for planting that, but that'll be something that we will look at. And obviously, there'll be some continuity to whatever we plant along the street. So.
Reminds me of when we had the Azalea Festival, and there's azaleas up and down the street too. Be nice.
So if there's no other comments or questions, I will tell Ross that we do want to go out for this RFP, and you'll get this started.
Good. Sounds good.
If there's no other discussion items, we'll move on to the director's report, and Ross is traveling and not here today, so we will move on to the chairman's report. I have nothing new to report other than what we just talked about. And we see no one in the public tonight, so I will open it up to the board. Does anyone have anything they'd like to discuss tonight? Anything new happening on the street?
On the
that
streets?
Anybody knows?
I thought that Ross had said that we were gonna have something on the agenda for liquor license approval tonight, but obviously that didn't make it to the table.
No.
Okay.
And in a conversation with him, he did tell me that the former Nate's is going to be up for sale. The people that bought it, I guess they made some improvements and.
Really?
Yeah, they painted the whole outside of the building and fixed that up, and they were doing some work inside.
They were doing the parking lot today.
Yeah,
So
so,
that's all I know about it, other than he told me that it was going to go back up for sale.
So it was just an investment for them. Okay.
yeah, what I heard, the business he wanted to do, he bought it with an idea to do something, but he wasn't sure it could be done, or he even, was ready to do it, and evidently decided wasn't the time or place to do it. I would just remind everybody to get informed about that bridge. Because I know I am. I've never talked so much in my life.
I do have a real quick question regarding the Lyons Park landscaping. Are we gonna actively seek, landscaping companies that are on Groseal?
Typically,
Their bids?
two of our people that have submitted proposals is Scott Landscaping
Okay.
and Carl Moore.
More.
So I know those two people do typically bid on our stuff. Yeah, I mean, my preference would be any of the work that we can keep on the island we should do that, so. Anything else? If there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Budney. Supported by Mr. Anderson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries.